father to twins, Akshay, my son, now known as Major Braveheart, Major Akshay Girish. He made the supreme sacrifice fighting terrorists in Nagrota after a Jaish-e-Mohammed attack. He was leading the quick reaction team. Ever since he was a child, he was always like very determined to don the uniform. Otherwise, a very cute child who attracted a lot of attention, who loved people. My husband, Girish, is a former fighter pilot. My father was a war veteran too. He was commanding a battalion in the 1971 war. It's an armed forces family. So yeah, 3 generations, which is not very common for a South Indian family. And from the extended family, about 17 extended family members who served in the Army, Navy and Air Force.
Thank you for inviting us today on Kargil Divas. So this is something that the team also was talking about, that if we weren't invited today, we really wouldn't know about the day itself. And I feel like that's an issue about a lack of awareness that's there, not just about the forces, but then the days that are dedicated to the forces also. Is that something that you've also come across quite a bit now?
Yes, because somehow for some reason, although our country has been right since independence in a state of war, a low scale or major wars, or there's a low scale conflict constantly on, because our neighborhood isn't friendly. We have China and Pakistan, both of whom are not friendly neighbors. So yes, our armed forces has been continuously safeguarding our country, protecting, which is why all the development that has happened in the last 75, 76 years is because the soldiers at the border have made sure that they've kept the country safe. So the rest of us are free to dream and work towards our dreams and goals. But at the same time, there's been a kind of disconnect between the armed forces and the civil population until the last, I would say, 10 years. They're getting closer now. Otherwise, things happened only within the 4G campuses. And in Civi Street, hardly anyone knew our heroes.
Yes, that's
Right.
very true. Yeah.
Like when right from 1948, 62, 65, 71, 99 Kargil, and so many counter-terror operations. But for some reason, there have been few movies made and some books written. But generally, the civil population is not aware of what those battles and wars were like, who were the heroes, and all of that. So yes, Kargil Vijay Divas, this is the 25th Rajat Jayanti, as they call it.
Okay.
So it's been, this time it's pretty big all across the country. And right now, as we're sitting here, all those who fought the war, Kargil war, and who made it out alive, are in Kargil today. And the Prime Minister is over there as well.
Okay.
So today it's a big day. And so we had Jain University NCC cadets wanting to come and commemorate this day here.
Can you tell us a little more about the trust, ma'am? You've spoken about your son, you've spoken about, we've just briefly touched upon an awareness issue as well. So is that something that the trust is working towards?
Yes, like when Akshay made the supreme sacrifice, this was 7.5 years now. It was 29th November 2016. It was a Jaish-e-Mohammed terror attack in Nagrota, which is not like in the heart of the valley. It is close to Jammu.
Okay.
But they chose this target to sort of send a message that they're coming in deeper and whatever. But it was, Akshay was leading the quick reaction team, that is to counter the terror attack. And so successful were they that not a single man, woman or child who were trapped by those terrorists on that night were harmed. Everybody was rescued alive. No hostages were taken. But 3 of them had to make the supreme sacrifice fighting. Akshay, there was Major Kunal, and there was a Nayak Chitranjan from Tripura. So after that, for about a year, we were like, honestly, it's very hard to take that kind of a loss. For a year, we were in, I think, grief. And then we thought that Akshay was so passionate about the country. He always wanted to live in India, work in India. He would always say that if I have a lot of money, I travel the world, but I'm going to work in my country. I'm going to, this is going to be where I live, and stuff like that. We'd taken them abroad many times. In fact, many people had said, "Why do you want to join the forces when you have so many other options?" But he was somehow, no, I have to earn the uniform. I have to go to NDA. So after that, we thought that it can't end with him. His zeal to want to serve can't end with him.
Okay.
And if he's not there today, then the responsibility falls on the family to take it forward in some way. So we decided to form the trust. And since then, our aim was to strengthen the spirit of patriotism, and which basically means you don't have to don the uniform, but irrespective of what you do, you should think of your country, and you should contribute to your country, its development and progress. And at least you should be good citizens worth fighting for, right? So if nothing else. So we started working with youth to strengthen the spirit, and then we had many requests saying that, what about careers in the armed forces? So because we are three generations in the forces, we have a lot of friends who are veterans. We said, okay, let's start having seminars and workshops on careers in the armed forces. What are the available options? What are the eligibility? How do you prepare for your exams? What is SSB? The whole process. So we started having these workshops, career counseling kind. And then apart from that, we started traveling the country, meeting other families who had lost a soldier. So that's solidarity with Braveheart families. Most people forget, So we started traveling, meeting many like us who'd lost a son, who'd lost a husband, who'd lost a father, brother. So we've developed a very nice bond, and we call it solidarity with Bravehearts. And many of them below officer rank have a lot of difficulties.
Okay.
Once they've lost their main breadwinner and support and everything, brave son. So we started in our own way trying to help out in
Whatever means
small
possible.
needs, education, health, house needs repair, daughter needs to get married, all kinds of things.
Got it.
On a case-to-case basis. So that's one aspect. And then we also then realized that we need to start doing some advocacy through studies, because there are gaps between policy and then access to what are, whatever entitlements and benefits, or access to needs that are needed for a dignified life. So we started getting into that as well. And apart from all of this, it was a very conscious decision to celebrate our soldier heroes. Many of them are amongst us, but no one knows them. So they've fought wars of 71, 99. So we started doing our annual event in December, which we call Vijay Divas. And we've been felicitating war heroes. And also sometimes we've been felicitating families of Bravehearts if the hero is no longer alive. So that's a big event. It's attended. It's pretty large. It's pretty popular. It's always houseful. And so that's something we've been doing. And then of course we commemorate Kargil Vijay Divas. We celebrate 15th August, 26th January. All of these as part of our trust. We work with a local government school here, very closely. So that way we're doing multiple things, and it's quite satisfying.
So there is your mission is not just an awareness building, but also a reckoning of sorts, that this is available.
Yes, it's not just awareness building. I like to think we work on the ground, like we're very grounded, very grassroots. We respond on a case-to-case basis as well.
Okay. So ma'am, through this trust, today being part of the Kargil Divas celebration also, we had a chance to speak to some of the students who had attended, and we'd spoken to them about basic questions. What does patriotism mean to you? And to hear the next generation that's going to be entering the workforce in 3-4 years' time say that patriotism is not just about I, me, and myself, but it's about a society as a whole. That is a patriotic sentiment. Is that something that, as the founding member of the trust, you're happy that this kind of thought is permeating into society?
I'm very happy. And in fact, we have, for some reason, I feel very positive about Generation Next. And I think that they are they are better informed and more aware, and they think more. And so even if a small percentage of them feel strongly about about our country, they will make a difference, a big difference in the long term. So yes, I think saying that give back to my country, that itself is a is a big thing. And thanks to social media, now the connect between the forces and the civil population is way better than it used to be.
Since you mentioned that you take at the grassroots level, at the ground level, you're caring, and you'd mentioned that people who are not at a particular grade, they are not taken care of, like once the person, the breadwinner of the family passes away. So is there some, can you explain that entire ecosystem to us, this whole next of kin ecosystem that's there, so we have a fair
See,
understanding?
when someone is killed in action, what we call as a battle casualty, they've given their life knowing the risks.
Yes.
They've gone into a situation where normally people would run away when bullets and bombs are coming. They're going towards it, right? Knowing the risks. So they've given their life fighting to protect the nation, and nation is obviously people. So the government does take care of their families, right? Because it's an honor thing. They've given their life for the country. The nation must take care of their family. So the government does take care, but there is something called next of kin. So next of kin is a single person as per policy.
Okay.
So when a soldier is not married, his next of kin is his mother.
Got it.
Or his father if his mother is no more. But when he is married, his next of kin is his spouse. So for a soldier, most of them in fighting front are men. So for the soldier, his next of kin is his wife. And so what happens is then the parent of that married soldier is forgotten. They are no longer next of kin. So they're not in records. And what happens is, especially in below officer rank, many of them come from very, they're not from well-to-do families.
Understood.
And their most capable child has joined the force. They've made many sacrifices. They're strong, able, fit, medically, whatever, bright child has joined the force. They are actually dependent on him in many ways, but they're not dependent on paper.
Got it.
Because they're still working. The father may be a farmer, or he may have a small shop, or whatever it might be. But when the soldiers made the supreme sacrifice, all the benefits which come as honor go to the next of kin, in which case it is the wife.
Okay.
And if there are children, then them also. So what happens is a higher ex gratia, a higher pension, what's called a liberalized pension. State governments also pitch in. They also give an ex gratia because of honor. He's from our home state. So each state gives something.
So
some of them give as high as 1 crore. Some give 50 lakhs.
Yes,
some
I
give
heard in
25
Andhra
lakhs.
there was
Some
5
give only
crore.
5 lakhs. But each state government gives a different amount. Then they give things like a job to the wife. They give something like maybe a piece of land. So these are all benefits that have come out of honor. That is not shared with the parent of the married soldier. So what happened? How did the soldier join the force, and how did he become what he became? And he came from a home where his parents sent him to serve the country. And after he served the country, given his life serving the country has forgotten the parents. So there's a feeling of hurt. Not even a condolence letter goes to the parent of a married soldier. It goes only to next of kin, which is one person. So this whole idea is, why are you forgetting that these parents also need support? And why don't you share that honor with the parents, even if their child was married? It's not their fault. I mean, if the child was married, they don't cease to be parents. They are still the parents.
They're still the parents, yes.
And in India, parents and children take care of each other all our lives. We still take care of our old parents, don't we? So if you're not there, then who's supposed to take care of them? The country should take care of them. What about their medical needs? Why don't they get free medical treatment? So things like that.
So it's a policy issue.
It's only a policy issue. There's no need to get into any controversy over it. The government needs to relook at the policy from the ground reality aspect. So we are trying to say, this is the ground reality of our country. We don't have social security. Children don't leave home at 18 and earn their way through college and pay for their own wedding. Sorry, here the parents do all that.
Yes.
Parents sacrifice a lot so to put their children through college, to get
Yeah.
them married.
Mhm.
They'll even look after their grandchildren, right,
That's true.
until they're able. And when they are old, their children definitely take care of them. So if when the child is not there, who is responsible? The nation is responsible, because the child is not there because he gave his life for the
For the
nation. He didn't
nation.
give his life for his family.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So we're saying, please relook at the family. Don't leave out one small group of parents of married soldiers, because parents of unmarried soldiers are getting all the
The benefits.
benefits and entitlements. So just because your child is married, it doesn't mean a parent doesn't
It ceases to be a
remain
parent.
yes,
Yeah.
doesn't remain a parent.
Ma'am, what do you think with your advocacy that you've done? I went through the abstract of your paper as well, and there were some instances that just stood out. For instance, women getting into the armed forces now, if they have a husband, their next of kin also is a little like the husband can go and get married again. And then what
So can
happens?
the wife.
So can the
See,
wife, yeah.
pension doesn't stop even on remarriage. My
Okay.
daughter-in-law is remarried.
Okay.
Pension doesn't stop, which
Okay.
is good.
Okay.
Which I'm saying is a good policy.
Okay.
The society must always be forward-looking. The wife must go on with life, and if whatever she wants to do, work, resettle, that encouragement should come as a society, as a nation. At the same time, you don't stop taking care of elderly parents.
Yes. But that becomes a personal context problem, no, ma'am. Can policy actually change this?
Why
Is what
not?
I'm getting at.
Why not?
Okay.
Why do you have to have a single NOK? You can have two
Multiple, yeah.
NOKs.
Okay.
You can say parent and child. You can say a share goes to the parent, and the pension share will revert to the spouse after the death of the parent. Why can't you do it? You just need to accept that a parent is part of family, and then everything else can be worked around. It can be a consultative process, meet the people who are affected,
Okay.
and review your policy. You can't have the same policy lifelong.
But this advocacy initiative of yours, did it start from 2017 since the conception of the trust? Or was it something that
No, it
was
started
built?
in 2019
Okay.
after we had traveled and started meeting a lot of families.
Uh-huh.
The study, in fact, that was done included wives, parents, children. It included everyone. From the findings, what came out was that this one group was most neglected. Others also have issues, genuine issues, relevant issues, which
Okay.
needed to be addressed. So all of that has been part of our advocacy. And small changes have started happening also. But this is a review issue, needs to get reviewed. This particular group which is left out, that is the parents of married soldier. For example, like when you say a lot of women are now joining the forces, tomorrow, whether you like it or not, there will be casualties.
Yes.
So today, like they say, no, where will the poor widow go? How will she manage? What about her kids? Are you going to say the same thing about her spouse? Where will the poor widower go? How will he take care of her? And forget her parents. The parents जिन्होंने बेटी पढ़ाओ, बेटी बचाओ, बेटी को फौज में भेजो और भूल जाओ. So this is going to come up. The lady soldiers' parents are going to say, like, how can you leave us high and dry?
But where did the spark for this advocacy, apart from it was just interactions with people at the grassroots level, or was there something else?
It was a lot of interaction, and it's also that we are connected with other similar trusts. Captain Tushar Mahajan Foundation is one, Vasant Ratna Foundation is another, the War Widows Association in Delhi is another. So everyone had met and knew families who had issues or the other. So I said, why don't we do a collaborative study all across the country? And I do have an NGO background. I worked with ActionAid for 8 years. My master's is in pharmacy, so the health sector. But social research is, the tools are similar, so you can tweak it to do a survey. We had volunteers from all across the country to do the actual survey. So it was done, and it was reviewed by none other than General Ved Malik, who's former chief of army staff. In fact, he was the chief when Kargil war was fought. And by Shri Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who was then an independent MP in 2019.
Okay.
And a couple of other veterans. It was reviewed by them. Inputs were taken, and then it was finalized. It's been published by United Services Institute of India, which is a defense think tank. So it was a serious, and I think for the first time it was a proper ground study
Or this is the
on
first?
this topic. Yes, on
Interesting.
this topic.
Okay. So
I
there
don't
had.
think there have been many cases of petitions and appeals and discord in families, and I think all of that will actually reduce to a great extent if your policy is right.
That's true.
Blaming one or the other, there's no point
Yeah,
blaming the
yeah.
parents or in-laws or blaming the spouse. That's no use.
Mhm.
If your policy has been fair, then a lot of this discord would anyway not exist.
But now that you've submitted this and it's been published as a paper, what happens next, ma'am? How does this actually? No.
I wish I knew, because
Okay.
that we have no access to the decision makers, right?
Who are the decision makers in this regard, ma'am?
I think
It has to be the center,
it has
maybe.
to be the center,
Okay.
the
Got
ministry.
it.
See, if the Ministry of Defense puts it up
Okay.
as a requirement,
Mhm.
then it'll get done.
So we just now it's a
Or
waiting
the
game.
armed forces recommends
Okay.
to review, then it can be done. But
Okay.
I really don't know who the decision makers are. We are the grassroots workers, so we
Okay.
we keep hoping that it'll go forward somehow,
Got it.
and we keep making those efforts.
The efforts don't stop though.
No, why should they stop? I'm confident that sooner or later someone else will come up and take it forward.
Is there any other part of the trust's activities that you'd like to talk about, apart from its advocacy and the awareness programs that you do?
Yeah, see, we work with government school children basically
Okay.
because they don't have the kind of access to a lot of activities which private school children get.
Mm-hmm.
So, right from like group tasks
Okay.
to getting them to go to a boot camp to
Okay.
celebrating these, Army Day
Days.
and all that
Mm-hmm.
with a poster competition or whatever,
Okay.
instituting achievement awards for their toppers in the government school,
Okay.
Major Akshay Girish Memorial Trust Achievement Award. So they get a scholarship, two students, a boy and a girl each
Mm-hmm.
year, which the money is useful for their college, etc. So we do
Got
such kind of things. The last thing that we did was uh, fitness,
it. Mm-hmm.
leadership through fitness.
Okay.
So we had a group to go in and teach them Zumba
Okay.
as a fitness method, because in the school they don't really have too much of sports and
Yeah.
games and stuff like that.
There's
So
no
every
focus on
Saturday,
that. Yeah.
yes, and they really enjoyed it.
Okay.
In fact, they have 11 or 12 who've been given certificates as like they have a certain proficiency to teach the others, and they've really enjoyed. They were shy initially, but they've really enjoyed doing it. So yeah, and plus we get them across to like show them a war movie or get them into
Okay.
our Vijay Divas events. That
Got it.
exposure itself.
Hmm.
Even take them to the planetarium,
Okay.
take them to a CRPF center where training is happening. Just those kind of exposure visits. So we do all of this. And then responding to individual needs, we do support some parents who have no means of income at all.
Okay. Okay.
Parents who've lost a soldier son
Got it.
and who have no means of income, who are struggling.
Hmm.
So we do support them.
Okay.
One of our gallant soldiers needed a house. He had a plot but no money to build a house. So a lot of people got together, and the trust was one of the
Contributors.
contributors and the ones like who was talking about it. So
Okay.
a house has been made in Punjab for Naik Gura Singh. And in fact, even like encouraging children to take up sport, para sport, etc. We've been in on a case to case basis. We're always out there helping people.
Okay.
Also medical treatment for those who
Mm-hmm.
can't afford it,
Okay.
especially when they're from soldier families or even farmer families for that matter.
Okay. Okay. All right, ma'am. This is one question that we usually ask most of our guests is what is the value of money for you? I thought I'd ask you what is the value of independence in your life as of today? What does it mean to you?
Independence to me means being able to follow your dreams and work towards it with a lot of effort while never forgetting those who sacrificed to give us that independence. And if I may add your money question also, I think financial independence is very dear to me, and it's
Okay.
important as well, because I feel money, that financial independence gives you the confidence to use the money where your heart is. Even if you want to give back, that money comes in very useful, no questions asked, right?
Yeah.
So I think especially for women, like I always like to say, okay, men are known as the breadwinners, and even if they bring in the butter and the bread and the butter, even the jam that the woman brings in is very important.
That's true.
Right? So
Agreed.
yes. So
Okay.
so for me, money is important because it allows me to give back to causes that mean a lot to me.
Thank you so much for your time, ma'am, and for inviting us here and letting us be part of your celebrations as well today. Like, I'm pretty sure all of us learned a thing or two.
Thank you. I hope you had a good time as
Yes.
well.
Yeah,
and
we learned a lot
you
of new
met
things.
some of the students
Yes,
who were
we did.
there.
It was really nice meeting the students also. I mean, the confidence with which they're answering. So I belong to the millennial generation, and like I keep saying this, like, oh, Gen Zs, they don't really know what they're doing. But were I in that student's place and these questions were asked to me, I would not have a semblance of the eloquence with which they answered and how sure they are of what they're doing. This is something that we usually think that, Gen Zs, they don't really know. They're just hyper aware, but they don't know where to focus their attention. But I feel like that's not really true, especially after today.
I think all kinds make the world. You will
Yeah.
find all kinds, even
It's a
in
mix and match.
Yeah. But there's the 5% who make a difference, no, for the other 100. So if you have 5% which are up there, it's great.
True that. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.